Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast. We got UFC 309. John Jones. I refuse to call you the GOAT when you duck people. Jones taking on Stipe, the ghost of Miocic. I mean, this is a great fight 7 years ago, but we're going to break it all down. And more importantly, well, one, we now have 13 fights in the card. We're going to break down 12 of them. I'll get to that in 1 minute and some explanation there. But we're going to talk DraftKings strategy. Your boy took down the $5 GPP last week because I did not play the main because I did not like the card. So I bumped down how much I was playing, and of course I smacked the nuts. So notes are up we'll get this week's notes up as well. Still had a good. I mean, I'm not going to sneeze at a couple $1,000. That is nothing to sneeze at. I'm basically free rolling this week now because I'll probably go pretty heavy on this card, chasing big money. We'll see. We'll see what I decide to do. But anyway, I'm Sniper. That's Monk. Going to do all of these fights in this card. Monk, how was your week last week? And are you looking forward to 309 here at MSG?
I am. It was pretty good. Not as good as yours. Actually, I had a rough week with some of my picks, so I'm hoping to bounce back with that.
You didn't listen to me. You didn't listen.
That's true. I mean, I did feel good about a couple of them, but there was
going 12 now.
If I have like 2 or 3 off ones, then that's like par for the course. Basically, I might have had 4, maybe even 5. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll put that behind us. I love this card. 309 looks great. Interesting matchups. A lot of very wide ITD lines, and about to be another one. It sounds like that was just added.
Yes, and by the way, I had the week you missed. I was like 5-7 on picks. It was total.
Yeah, it happened.
Total disaster. And then I think last week I was 11-1 or something like that. So it's
right.
It is what it is. But do me a favor, guys. Smash the like button. If you're not in DFS Army, get in the Discord, the optimizer I use to take down the tournament. And unfortunately, the only way we're gonna cover this fight is through news. This was added an hour before we record on Tuesday nights. Not broken it down yet. Everything will be up in the Discord and the optimizer for DFS Army members. So again, that link down below, along with promo codes, all the good stuff. Lucas Almeida is out. We knew that. I didn't think Onama was going to fight in this card. They get a late replacement for Onama. It is Roberto Romero, who actually in typology is Roberto Romero Hernandez. He's from Cambache. That's as far as I've gotten on the guy. I will break this down later in the week. But for the podcast, not going to do it. There's already a clusterfuck salary jam at the top of this card, which we're going to break down. And this is just going to add to it another, high salary guy in Onama because they did not price him yet, unlike the Zaleski late issue we had last week. So that is fight number 1, and that's all we're going to cover on it. By the way, before we get into the actual card, the other little bit of intro I wanted to do is this fight is at Madison Square Garden. I said it, I'm local, Atlantic City. I'm on Long Island. I've gone to MSG cards, New Jersey cards. I'm not going to Madison Square Garden for this. This is not worth me being.
Oh, you just told the people you hit the $5.
I'm gonna go ahead and not spend that money. I'm gonna sit at home, have some drinks.
Good
Honestly, even if I was comp tickets, I'd be like, because it's not a hassle. I love going to the fights, but you have to want to be there because it's 3 a.m. You got kids the next day. If it's a good card, yeah, I'm absolutely in. The only fight on this card that I am interested in watching is the co-main event. Maybe Bo Nickal, Paul Craig. And then after that, I'll give you a small shout out to Tybura, Diniz, and Elliott, Basil Hafez is a fine prelim as well. Nothing else. You like Mauricio Ruffy, and we'll talk about all these fights.
But
this is a squash match. This is not a good. This is not a pay-per-view opener. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, I know I sound like I'm complaining to a certain extent. I am mostly because I was all excited for UFC 309 MSG, and I don't like this card. I just don't. I'm gonna watch every minute of it. I love fights. I'm not thrilled here, but I guess take my grumpy old man attitude out of it, and let's talk about the fights and how we can make some money on them. That's what we're here to do. Veronica Hardy, you've won a couple fights. I'll start calling you Veronica Hardy.
There we go.
plus the jiu-jitsu video she that Nina Drama posted today with Veronica
Oh
Hardy.
yeah, I might have seen that.
That was, say what you want about Nina Drama. Different content. It's good content. I watch it.
Yeah, right. Why not?
Good for her. People hate on her, but not for, I mean,
They do. There's a lot of haters in this
on
community.
everything. You know, if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's something different. So anyway, Veronica Hardy's minus 142. The comeback on Eduardo Moura is plus 122. Your DraftKings salaries on this one. Hardy is 8,700. God. Eduardo Moura is 7,500. Fight goes to decision minus 275. Monk, you want to go first or second this week? Your call.
Oh, why not? I'll start us off here. I don't usually do this for too many favorites, but I put Hardy as a GBP or fade in my notes this week. I mean,
1,000%.
For obvious reasons. Like, she's simply too expensive. And Moira, granted, she put up a giant score against Montserrat Ruiz or Montserrat Conejo, whatever you want to call her. Little 5'1" firecracker. She did put up a crazy score there, but I mean, we're not going to expect that against Veronica Hardy, who has looked decent since she has moved or come back actually from that loss to Malecki back in 2020. So either way, if Hardy wins, expect a 70 to 80 point win. And if Moira wins, she's actually probably GPP and maybe even cash usable, since she has the potential to score. She can land takedowns. How is Hardy gonna face the up against that? So yeah, Moira's probably usable at 7,500. I think the salaries are quite crazy here. This should be way narrower, in my opinion. More narrow? I don't know if narrower is a word.
Either way, narrower. Yeah. Look, agree with that totally. And Eduardo Moura, I'll go a little bit further, is instantly cash viable at minus 275 or whatever it was to see the scorecards at 7,500, because they ran out of room in the mid-range. There are some closer fights, but the way DraftKings usually staggers pricing, see 7,500 instant. There are some other cash viable punts as well, but it really is, honestly, it's the two women's fights, and then we'll talk about Basil Hafez later, but a different take here, and there's more of a floor here because I don't think Hardy is going to finish her. And I'm going to go one step further here. I'm going to pick Eduardo Moura. I think she can get takedowns here, secure top control time. I think Hardy, because she is, I mean, we just talked about the jiu-jitsu videos with Nina Drama, but for what it's worth, she's comfortable off her back and has lost fights that way in the past. If Eduardo Moura gets takedowns, just stay safe on top, and there's no urgency from Hardy to get up. She can score with small strikes. She can score with control time. You don't need a big number. Hell, no dogs really won last week other than Gaston Bolaños, and Luana Pinheiro ended up on the optimal lineup in a loss. So, look, any win from a dog is going to be instantly viable, especially on this card where there's 5 or 6 squash matches. They're not a ton of dogs who are even
not
live.
a ton of dogs. I meant to say that off rip, and I forgot. But yeah,
I'm gonna pick a couple. I do have a couple.
I did pick a couple, but there's an argument to be made that we could have another 11-1, 10-2 type week.
Yeah, except there's 13 fights now. Don't forget.
And it's a pay-per-view, so go back and look at the pay-per-view numbers. I should do an end-of-year report. Pay-per-view numbers seem to have more favorites, and this is probably a dumb thing to say out loud, but a lot more favorites than like an Apex, the average Apex card.
You mean in the optimal lineup?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd be interested in that. I'm giving you some content ideas. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Eduardo Moura, cash viable, GPP fine, and Hardy. Basically going to play none of. Did I write fade or did I write GPP? I wrote GPP. That's borderline GPP.
Hardy at 87 is fucking wild, man.
Yeah, I'm going to add fade to my notes here. GPP/fade. So you get insight here in the podcast.
I know this is the one problem with doing my notes Tuesday is I hope I don't counter argue myself here, counterpoint myself.
I like doing them early like this because it lets me make sure I throw my opinions and I don't echo chamber.
Yeah,
myself,
that's nice for sure.
Which is what I did last week. Otherwise, I don't think I would have. I mean, I'm going to keep going back to it, but we said it on the podcast. I think I said I'm going to go jam all in on Robertson, and I'm going to have a little bit of and like I'm going to be all in on the fight because if Pinheiro wins, she'll be optimal. Robertson could have big, and actually, it's funny just the way the card works. Both things happen. So I played 20 lineups. I had 80% Robertson and 20% Pinheiro.
She scored 100.
Yep, so it was fine. and Pinheiro ends up in the optimal in a fluky kind of weird thing. And I had 20% Pinheiro. That's not a lot, but I was double the field.
But it was enough. Yeah.
It was enough. So, and the optimizer was on fire because I talked to somebody in Discord who had like 6% Pinheiro and also ended up on the net somehow. So
Jesus.
I've had that happen before. It's always a great feeling when you like nearly full fade somebody, but you're 3% smacks. It's like, oh, that was nice. Anyway, we should move on to the next fight because we got a bunch to cover. Although I say that, and honestly, there are a few fights that are going to be real quick breakdowns here. There's some shit. But it looks like I'm starting the night with back-to-back dog picks. Let's do it. This is a bigger odds zone. Oban Elliott, minus 250. Basil Hafez, plus 210. Fight goes to decision. It's minus 210. So again, instantly cash viable for Basil Hafez. DraftKings salaries here on this one. Oban Elliott is 8,800. Hafez is 7,400. Really similar to the last fight. Honestly, I actually am taking Basil Hafez again, and I'm a little more confident here than I am in Eduardo Moura. Look, Oban Elliott, I get he's the undefeated prospect, right? But he is, there's been some dicey fucking moments in his last few fights. And say what you want about Basil Hafez, I wouldn't want to be in a dark alley with a dude. And he grapples. There's pressure. He looks physically strong. Look, I know he beat Mickey Gall, and it was he looked better than expected against Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena is a legit top 15 guy. Like, he's good. Oban Elliott is getting, majority decision over a Kayak Brito decisions, Val Weidman and Preston Parsons. And it's getting taken down by those guys. Those guys are taking him down. Okay, I know he's undefeated, and he's the Welsh gangster, wants to be the Welsh Chael Son, and major red flags here until he beats somebody convincingly that he should beat to get where this line in his mouth would indicate. I can't bet him at this number. I'm all about Basil Hafez here. I'm going to be starting. We just said pay-per-view cards, a lot of favorites, but I'm starting the night with back-to-back dog plays, and then I'll roll in, and then real quick, I think I took one more underdog the rest of the card. No, two. Wow, surprisingly, I took 2, 3. Remember, I picked 5 dogs. How the fuck did this happen? You know what it is, though? I all the mid-range, like, pick-em fights. Like, I'll just go ahead and spoil. Like, I took...
There's a few that I said I thought were 50-50s.
I picked a ton of dogs. What the fuck are we talking about here? I picked Brahimaj, Martinez, Weidman, Miller. I picked everybody from 74 to 7,900. I'm gonna make my cases. I'm gonna make my cases for all of them here.
There you go.
I'll make my case for all, and I think I will say of all of them, I probably there's one other I'm more confident. I have much more conviction in one other, and I won't spoil that for now.
That's the one we're gonna.
Okay, we're gonna get there.
I know it's gonna be great.
That line is wrong. That even if you pick the other guy, that line is I don't get it. Do not get it. We'll get there. We're spoiling things from the Discord. Anyway, Basil Hafez here from me. Monk, what do you got?
Honestly, this might be the one I change. I think on my notes I picked Oban, but I might actually change to Basil. I
swayed you.
I was honestly thinking about doing it earlier, and I kept looking at it. This was the one I had blank. I filled it in last. I think those 2 wins are, 2 fights for Basil are good. I think obviously the JDM fight, he looked better than most people thought. And ended up scoring 48 points in a 3-round loss, which is way better than average. And then even in the Mickey Gall fight, and we'll get to this as well pretty soon, I think. Mickey Gall, I thought looked pretty improved in that overall compared to what he usually comes in with. And Hafez dropped heavy volume, took heavy volume, and got that win. So we know he has cardio. We know he has wrestling. 6 takedowns total, 3 apiece so far into the UFC. So he did it against a striker, and he did it against a grappler as well. So it's not just, only against strikers, this blah, blah, blah. We know what Oban's going to do. I don't like that he got taken down 3 times total by Woodburn and Parsons. And I agree. It's a lot like the first one. Oban's probably too much. I think I wrote that I'm worried about him paying off the salary, 8,800. Basil's probably a good play. And I'll probably be changing my pick actually to Hafez. But yeah, I think it's a good play at 7,400.
We got him, guys. We got him to see the fucking light.
Habibi. Let's go, Habibi.
All right, let's move on here. And let's
Who
talk
we got?
Mickey Gall. He's back. Mickey Gall and Ramiz Brahimaj. Mickey Gall's minus 133. Brahimaj is plus 113. Fight goes to decision is minus 130. Your DraftKings salary here. Gall is 8,300. Brahimaj is 7,900. Monk, I hope you have a strong take on this one because while I clearly, based on what you said, I picked Brahimaj, but I have zero strong take on this one. A slight gust of wind can change my mind.
I do have a strong take, but it might be wrong. Just so that's fair, fair game. Just throwing that
I have
out.
a strong take, but I am stupid. So
Right. I think, and this is crazy to say out loud. In fact, I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to. I think Mickey Gall smashes this dude like badly. I think this is going to be a fantastic I think he's good for every. I think he's good in all formats. Is what I wrote.
I'm pausing you here. I know he's a favorite. This is your kill shot. If you were actually,
if you're going to let me do it, yeah, then absolutely.
This is one of those things where it doesn't always have to be a dog. It's where do you get leverage? Because Mickey Gall is not going to be high owned this week.
You don't think so?
No, I do not.
Brahimaj is really bad.
So is Gall, and that was my notes. Is both these guys suck ass.
Yeah, but Gall's losing to arguably better guys.
See, that's the.
Also, I think he like stepped up. I really think he improved his game before that Hafez fight. That he scored 40 points in that loss. Again, that you don't want to lose. I'm not bragging about a losing fighter, but the grappler landed 5.5 strikes per minute on over 15 minutes. Didn't really ever fade. He didn't really get much control time going. Obviously, he got taken down 3 times, but he only gave up 8% control time. So he was doing the right things. That was a kind of a close fight, to be completely honest.
Yeah, Mickey Gall is 32. So when he was 27, that's in his prime, right? It's not like he was a young kid. Losing to fucking Diego Sanchez, 20.
Yeah,
20.
That's rough.
It's so hard to get that out of my mind. But you're right. Rough. I mean, Morono, Malat, Hafez.
Yeah, that's a decent run.
All right.
That's a decent run of, as far as losses go.
To be fair, Brahimaj losses are Themba Garimbo, who looks pretty good, Court McGhee, and Max Griffin.
Right. So his only wins
are actually worse than Gall's wins. That's the problem.
Worse than Gall's wins. Michael Gilmore and Sasha Palatnikov. Remember him? Yeah, probably not. So yeah, long story. We probably talked about this for too long already. No, this is the best that I've ever seen. I just processed this. In Ramiz Brahimaj's 2, he's got 2 UFC wins. Yep.
He's landed 1 strike.
Holy shit, you're right. I didn't even see that.
That is the best thing I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, 1 strike.
He's got 2 wins with 1 strike. He took down Michael Gilmore.
That's Hamzat numbers. Maybe I should switch my fucking pick, bro.
That's fantastic.
Maybe he's Hamzat Brahimaj.
I'm telling you, that fight announcement at 8 o'clock Eastern time before we recorded totally broke me, so we could say some wild shit here. I'm just done.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Mickey Gall's 1-4. Play at your own risk. I fucking think plus he's at home. This seems like a gimme fight, to be quite honest. This is as much of a gimme fight the UFC could give someone in their hometown. I know he's a Jersey guy, but fucking I shouldn't say bad things about either one with you in here, but I was gonna say pretty much the same shit. But yeah, so it's basically a hometown fight. It seems like a gimme.
I hate it here. I fucking hate it here.
I know he has to take it. He has to be able to physically take it, and I think it's there. Is he gonna do it? I think he is. So I think he's a smash spot. I'm gonna be way over the field, and it might be really bad. I'm willing to accept that.
It might be. All right.
I put Brahimaj as a straight up fade. I think I just put fade. I was so confident this morning. I was like, dude, he's gonna get fucking rolled.
See,
I put GPP fade. Fair enough.
I'm pretty much gonna go at or below the field on both guys. For me, I don't think it's that big of a discrepancy. I think they kind of vanilla bullshit suck this one up together. I don't think either one's especially good. I don't think anybody's gonna find a finish. It's the mid-range salaries. That's why I have a little bit of interest. But I mean, Tybura, Diniz is a way better mid-range spot, and there's clearly some other dogs I like. And the big, I can't get my head around playing either one of these guys over my other options on this card. GPPs, I'll mix in a little bit, but I'll be underweight. I don't like this fight. I think both guys suck. And just eye test for whatever reason. I like Brahimaj's grappling. Gall's a good grappler too. I don't know. For the eye test, when I watched tape a little bit, I was like, I think Brahimaj's a little better. I don't know. This fight sucks. And I kind of that was my honest analysis. This is one of the ones I did not spend a ton of time on because I think it's a low level fight.
I just have a vision of Mickey Gall in full mount just dropping elbows in like the first round.
It's one of those things that can win your guard if you see something nobody else does. And I would
gotta manifest.
Trust your eyes. I don't say that manifest shit. Told you I hate living in fucking.
That's true. You did. Really, I apologize.
I really hate it here.
I'd take it back.
We didn't have family. Be like, hey, we're moving. But as any married man will tell you, it's not really your decision.
No, yeah, right.
Anywho, Marcin Tybura, Jahanada Diniz. Tybura is minus 145. That is opening up quickly. Diniz is plus 125. Fight ends into the distance at minus 325. GPP light should be going off in your head, especially when I tell you the prices are 8,200 for Tybura, 8,000 for Jahanada Diniz. It will be chalk. I'm all about Marcin Tybura here. It'll be chalk because it's 8,200 and minus 145. Big inside the distance number. Look, Diniz is somehow, 2-0 in the UFC or 3-0? What is it, 2-0?
2-0, I think, yeah.
He's 2-0, 2-0 in the UFC. And he's fought in somebody with the worst game plan I've ever fucking seen in my life and somebody who gassed out trying to wrestle him. He beat Carl Williams and Carl Williams tried to strike with him. The first time Williams tried to take down, like the third round, he took him down instantly. Like, it was the same guy who is like, I'm going to stand and trade with Chase Sherman. You have a heavyweight who can wrestle. He doesn't want to use it. That's what Curtis Blades has done all the way to the top. Now he's got problems now, but Carl Williams could be Curtis Blades. He's got good enough wrestling, but he just refuses to do it.
Blades, I like it.
Oh, God. Anyway, this fight, I think Tybura gets takedowns. We've seen him do it before. He's smart enough to do it. He did it against Tai Tuivasa. This is the Tai Tuivasa fight with a slightly better striker. Now, can Diniz catch him coming in? Have learned to stop a takedown? Get a knockout? Absolutely. This is a loaded up, will be in every one of my lineups GPP play, and I'll be heavier on Tybura. Diniz win's not going to beat me, but a Tybura win, like I suspect, will give me a chance at the nuts here. This fight doesn't score well, I'm in trouble. Mid-range, huge ITT number. I can't get away from it. I'm on Tybura. How about for you, Monk?
Yeah, the minus 325 is enticing. There's several other fights that are much wider than that, ITD for sure, and it's in the up. I'm having a hard time getting to this fight, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yeah, with the guys I want to play at the top end, and there are two people that I'm really looking to target. Probably shouldn't be too hard to figure out. I mean, no, it's not hard to get. What am I trying to say? Look, if Diniz doesn't finish Tybura in the first round, he's not going to score well. This dude is Derek Lewis with better defense. Like I said, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago when this fight was supposed to happen, or when Diniz was supposed to fight Lewis. He's Derek Lewis with better defense, basically. He lands 2 strikes a minute, and that's pretty much it. I know it's probably more than that on the stats, but it's very low volume, and he doesn't do shit else. Tybura can get the takedowns. The issue is he is 39 years old. That probably doesn't matter for heavyweights. He's been knocked out in 4 of his 8 UFC losses, so that's an issue. But you're right. He can definitely get takedowns, but if he just gets on top and, say if he doesn't do it in the first round, if he gets the finish in the second round, I'm not convinced this one scores fantastically. I guess you don't need it to at 82 and 8,000. I'm going to be average or just slightly under, I think, for the most part, to both of these. I think I picked Diniz. I actually don't know. I picked Diniz, but this is like a 50-50 fight, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Agree. I have a stronger take on this one. You have a stronger take on the last fight.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you said earlier two guys at the top that shouldn't be too hard to figure out. I'm assuming you're going to say Bo Nickal and Mauricio Huffy, right?
You 1 for 2.
Yeah, I'm going to make an argument why I would play some of those guys before I'd play John Jones.
There we go.
It's going to be something. It's. I think we'll get into it. John Jones.
Who's older at this point, Tyson or Stipe? Somebody's got to be able to figure this out.
We can get into this argument, but I think John Jones is going to pull a total scumbag move. And it's total just gut reaction, but we'll get there. Little teaser, and you might have an idea now that I've said that what I think is going to happen.
The funniest thing possible?
No, the shadiest thing possible. I think old school boxing.
Oh, okay.
I think I'll just point out just to say I think he's going to flat out carry Stipe as long as he physically can.
Oh,
because if he smashes Stipe, we'll get into this now for a second.
Let's do it.
If he smashes Stipe, basically everybody is going to say, "We told you so. You should have fought Tom. This was a bullshit fight." And I don't think John's ego can handle that. I think even if he's way better than Stipe, he might just carry Stipe a few rounds, make it kind of competitive, and then finish him.
But then people are going to say, you sucked, you ruined your legacy. How do you not finish fucking Stipe?
Oh, I think he'll finish him, but maybe late. I think he's going to try and make it look like a closer fight. Everyone's like,
that would be off. In my opinion, that would be worse for his ego, in my opinion.
Well, he's not very stupid. He's not very smart.
That's also true. All
right. Anyway, let's get into this card because I got some more underdogs to pick here. Jim Miller taking on Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson's minus 170. Jim Miller plus 145. Damon Jackson up a weight class, minus 170 favorite. Something to keep in mind that I think is getting lost when people talk about this fight. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 130. And your DraftKings salaries here. Damon Jackson's 8,600. Jim Miller is 7,600. Monk, you are first.
Yeah, I picked Jim Miller. I think this is another, I think this is a legit 50-50 fight. I'm not touching it in cash. Man, Miller just took the beating of a fucking lifetime against King Green back in April, which is kind of stressing me out when it comes to this one. Of course, I forgot to change my fight. There we go. And he's now 41 years old. Not that age is nothing but a number with Jim Miller. But Damon Jackson, I mean, you can't trust him. Look, if he's not finishing Jim Miller relatively early, A, is he going to score well? The answer is probably not. And B, his cardio is fucking terrible.
So is Jim Miller's though. Jim Miller's shown some issues there.
Yeah, that's probably true. But I mean, you're probably right. Jackson, I know, has about 7 minutes of freaking cardio, depending on the amount of takedowns he's throwing or defending.
I think Miller's got 10.
That's exactly it. I think they're both not optimal, but Miller's is slightly better. And yeah, I think at 7,600, he's worth a play. He's obviously got the finishing upside. Damon Jackson does have some of that, but usually it comes in the form of submissions, and Jim Miller likely doesn't get submitted by very many people on this planet at the weight class. So yeah, I'm going with Jim Miller, man. I'm hoping to see him get it done. In no world am I picking against Jim Miller, against Damon Jackson for the most part. So especially up a weight class. So yeah, give me Jim Miller. I'm going to hope for the best. I know, Damon Jackson's probably going to be the quote unquote bigger fighter. He's listed at 3 inches taller, but man, I like Miller's chances here. And like I said, maybe he'll get that finish between that 7 and 10 minute mark there.
Yeah, I picked Jim Miller also because Jim Miller's great BJJ player. Damon Jackson likes to go for takedowns. Sometimes I think he's a little defensively irresponsible doing it. I've seen both guys hurt, but Jim Miller's the natural 155er. Jackson's coming up. There's just enough red flags here that I'm going to pick Jim Miller. I will say that Jackson is not on the fade list because of that grappling. Up if he wins, there is some upside there. I prefer him over. I know we haven't talked about this fight yet, but I prefer him over Eric Anders, definitely Veronica Hardy, and Oban Elliott. So just 3 fighters all surrounded around him, and I like him in GPPs more because he's got more upside. If he wins, I'm more confident he'll be on the optimal than any of those. And this is a 50-50 fight to me, so there's not the salary is a little high. I think he's a fine play, but I am going to side on Jim Miller for the pick.
Love it.
Let's move on and let's talk about Chris Weidman and Eric Anders. Chris Weidman fought at the card at the shirt I am representing, where he poked Bruno Silva in the eye 7 times.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of the commentary. I remember being there, and I was like, there's a few fights where I had Twitter open and I was refreshing while the fight was going on because we were stopping. Like, is everybody else seeing this? Like,
can you believe this?
Or like, are these intentional? Are these as bad as they look? Like, we're all like,
look, this is your third hard warning, Chris. Your third hard warning.
The only thing weirder that night was the Vicente Luque laying down for Joaquin Buckley, but I digress. Still convinced he threw that.
You're gonna die on that hill.
Yeah, especially Buckley's April Fool's post after.
Right.
I'm still like, it's not the most insane thing I've ever heard. Insane the way he laid down. Anyway, Weidman and Anders. Anders minus 115. The comeback on Weidman is minus 105, meaning you were going to have instant odds value here on Chris Weidman, although not a ton of it, but definitely some, because he's 7,700 in a pick'em fight. Anders is 8,500. Your fight goes to decision. Prop is minus 180. I think I'm technically first for this one, aren't I? This one was hard because I've always thought Eric Anders was not good. He's actually looked better. Was his last 3? He's had 3 wins in 4 fights, something like that.
He's 2-3 in his last 5.
2-3 in his last 5. All right, I'm off there. Has he won 2 of his last 3, or am I just totally not remembering?
Yeah, but it was correctly? Jamie Pickett and Kyle Daukaus.
Right, and he got knocked down by Jamie Pickett. But he's looked better, and he was the Alabama football player, like late transition to MMA, and since he's spent more time, he's got a freak athlete, now training MMA, he's gotten better through his career, but we made money fading him. That interesting juxtaposition to what we have in Chris Weidman, who was world champion at one time, maybe pound for pound best fighter in the world at one point.
Beat the GOAT twice.
And now it's Father Time is undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do here? I landed on the Chris Weidman side because I don't think Anders can finish him. Already questioning Anders' chin as well. Like, the biggest question mark here is Weidman's chin. We've seen it in plenty of fights, even back in his prime. Kelvin Gastelum was dropping him twice, and I was at that card, but he got takedowns and submissions. If you get a takedown here, he's got great control, more experience. I think he can do it. Am I 100% confident? No, I'm not. I didn't even bet Chris Weidman. There's another guy coming up I did bet, but I didn't bet Chris Weidman. I think there's some value here. So I think he's got more upside. This is one to just kind of play both sides of. I'll lean more towards Weidman, but Anders, I'm only playing a touch, and I mean a touch, 10%-ish, maybe a little more, maybe, because Weidman's chin is so, he's old. I'm old. He's definitely old. Mm-hmm. So I'm still going to pick Chris Weidman, my Long Island guy. Hopefully it's not a sad night. Hopefully his game plan is to go out and continually poking Eric Anders in the fucking eye.
Yeah, you don't get penalized for that, so
no,
you're all good. Yeah, again, I've said this the past 2 fights. I think this is the last one I'll say this for. This is a real 50 fight, in my opinion. I think I ended up picking...
The whole main card is squash matches. So
exactly, yeah. I think I ended up picking Anders, but honestly, I could have written Chris Weidman as well. I think if there's a chance for a finish, I agree with you. It's Eric Anders finding the chin of Weidman. But in reality, I see Weidman doing a bunch of cage pushing, getting a 15-minute decision where probably not a lot happens. Probably looks a lot like the Silva fight, hopefully without the eye pokes. He scores, 70 to 80 points.
Poke him in the fucking eyes. Fuck him.
Actually, yeah, why wouldn't you? You don't get penalized for fucking anything in this league, which is so aggravating. How many times did what's-her-name grab the fucking fence last week? Who was that?
That was
Pinheiro.
Yeah.
How many times, dude? That was insane. A couple. That's generous. That's generous for sure. I was almost screaming at the TV for the most part. Like, I didn't even have money on it. I'm just like, why are we whatever? Sidetrack. You can do foul. You can commit fouls here with no penalty. So yeah, keep doing it, Chris Weidman. You'll definitely win if you do that. But yeah, average GPP fight for me. I want to check ownerships on DFSArmy.com, which you should also do, and I'll probably be right around there. They'll probably be pretty even for me. Most of the time, I'd have more of the underdog, but Eric Anders, like I said, I think has that finishing possibility.
All right, let's move on, and let's talk about, excuse me coughing apparently, Jonathan Martinez, Marcus McGhee. This is the one we were alluding to earlier where Monk and I know we're going to disagree.
Go first, and then you're going to shit on me. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fun. Marcus McGhee's minus 135, Martinez plus 115. McGhee is 8,400, Martinez is 7,800. And fight goes to decision is basically 50-50, minus 120 for the goes to decision. Monk, as you said, you are first.
All right, here's what I wrote. I did put this like 10 hours ago. Martinez is the smart, safe pick, of course. He's McGhee
as
is
the dog.
You're right. This line should be flipped. I wish it was flipped. It's not. It sucks, but I wish it was, but it's not. McGee's only fought Journey Newsome, JP Bays, and Gaston Bolaños. That's what everybody's gonna see. He hasn't fought anybody, and it's true. I have no argument for that. He has looked nothing less than fantastic in each of those fights. He barely gets hit, and I really do mean barely. His significant striking defense is off the charts. 71%, 86% against JP Bays, 65% against Bolaños, and the first and third fight went 7-8 minutes. So this is
JP Bays hit Roman Dolidze more than he hit Marcus McGhee in
Yeah, he wishes he did. He wishes he could. But yeah, his defense has been great. Yes, it's been against terrible people. I also wrote this. It's a gigantic step up in competition. That said, unless Martinez knocks him out in the first or second round, he is basically guaranteed to not score well, and not even maybe 10x his salary at 7,800. That is a real possibility here. If this goes to decision and he wins, 65, 75 points is what we could be looking at. Not 105 like he did against Adrian Yanez, or 126 like he did against Cub Swanson. I'm taking a risk this week, and I'm going to go over the field on Marcus McGhee. Yes, I think Martinez should win. Like I said, he's the safer pick, but I want to get crazy like the maniac Marcus McGhee. So give me the triple alliteration here. Give me a veteran. He only has 3 fights against 3 terrible people, but he carries himself kind of like a 6, 7, 8 fight UFC veteran, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I know Martinez has only lost to Jose Aldo recently. Huge step up, huge test. I'm taking the risk. I think McGhee scores way better in a win than Martinez does.
Okay, so to be clear, we don't disagree on that at all. I think I think Martinez is viable in cash, though, because I think the line is wrong. I got him at, what did I bet him at? Plus 120? Yeah, Thank you. Look, after this fight, Jonathan Martinez's last fight in the UFC is going to be Cub Swanson, win, Said Nurmagomedov, win, Adrian Yanez, win, Jose Aldo, loss, and then whatever happens here. So it's not, he's also beating, and Jose Aldo does not look bad. Like, I know at some point Father Time's going to get him, maybe. Look, but he also, knocking down Adrian Yanez twice and finishing him, that's not nothing. Was able to stop, or at least get back up when, or reverse position when Said Nurmagomedov took him down. That was, a fun 29-20 fight.
Yeah, not getting gillied by Nurmagomedov is always a win.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, but Marcus McGhee, he's reliant on his on the finishes to score as well, right? He has been. Is he really? It's telling me he's going to finish Jonathan Martinez. Jose Aldo didn't finish Jonathan Martinez.
Davey Grant did, though.
Davey Grant did back in 2020. Oh, Davey Grant was super underrated, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe McGee's super, not underrated, but
if you're going to tell me you're so high on Marcus McGhee that this is the spot, he's the guy, and you're a believer in him, okay.
It's hard to do that with his 3 fights, though. I do understand that.
Right, but if you're saying that's what you see, trust your read, go with it. I don't quite see that. And I think Jonathan Martinez is undervalued for his resume, his skill
Could
set.
be. Yep.
I
He's
think the
tough.
leg kicks are gonna fucking eat
Yeah.
McGhee up.
That's the big issue.
I don't know if McGee's gonna be able to walk after 3 minutes of this fight and be able to close the distance and land those power shots. So I'm on McGhee. I don't disagree that there is them questioning the upside just a little bit. So give me Martinez. I feel better about it as a bet than a DFS pick.
There we go. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. 100% I agree with that.
All right. We can move on to the main card. We're 40 minutes in. We got, 20 minutes for 5 fights, and I don't know we're going to need all of it because this is going to get real ugly real quick. Mauricio Huffy taking on Hafez Llontop.
Llontop.
Oh, God. Huffy's minus 800. Llontop's plus 550. Huffy is second most expensive fighter on the card at 9,600. Llontop is 6,600. Just go ahead and play Huffy everywhere. Huffy is young, violent, scary. Llontop sucks dicks. I know he looked better than I thought he would in his UFC debut, where he who did he catch off guard?
Who?
Oh no, that's right. Never mind. I flipped it. He was supposed to smash Chris Padilla.
Right, yeah, he was
and then he lost. He lost to Taco Padilla. I think
he was a minus 460
you know what?
favorite.
For whatever reason, the Justin James situation popped in my head. I don't know why Justin James of all people popped in my head, but remember he came in short notice and
bet all of his fight purse on himself.
Psychopath.
Fucking lost.
I think it was a different fight.
Maybe, but that's the only thing I remember about Justin James.
Oh God. So look,
handsome guy though, bald head, bearded. Come on, there's nothing better than that.
Llontop finished by Chris Padilla. Decision against Vyacheslav Borshev. Mauricio Huffy's going to fucking hurt him. Go ahead and just play Huffy wherever you could fit him. What this is going to come down to is how do you rank the top 4? And that's what we'll do after the main event. We'll just rank the 4 plays. Nickal, Huffy, Jones, Karine Silva. To Charles Oliveira, thing's a whole different fight. But those top 4, after we get through the main event, we'll rank those before our kill shots. But go ahead and play Huffy.
Yeah, I agree. Huffy, fighting nerds. Let's go. How many weeks in a row is this? This is fantastic. We need to keep these fucking guys in rotation, man. Honestly, like get John Silva in there. Where's Kyle Bahayo? Put him back in. Well, he just went through kind of a long, a grueling fight about a month ago or so. But yeah, love these dudes. Huffy should smash 9,600. I think it's great. Yeah, Llontop should have smashed, but he's supposed to smash Taco. Then he fights Slava Claus. Yeah, Llontop was supposed to come in here looking good, and he's looked like shit. Just as many L's in his name as he has on his UFC record. Give me Mauricio Huffy. Let's go.
That was the most entertaining part of this fight breakdown. Good line.
Thank you.
Karine Silva, Viviane Araujo. Silva's minus 250, Araujo's plus 215. Fight goes to decision is minus 220. This is the other one that even if you're going to pick against her, Araujo is instantly cash viable because of the inside the distance number, and she is just 7,000. Your cheapest cash game option on the card, in my opinion. You could argue Stipe, and I still can't do it, even if I think Jones might carry him. It's hard to actually pull the trigger on it. Karine Silva is 9,200. Monk, what you got?
Yeah, I think Araujo's the best, one of the better cash plays, especially the best low-end play on the entire card. I don't think it's close. This one, I think, should go all 5 rounds. Yeah, or all 3 rounds. Sorry,
yeah,
I was thinking of. I was looking at a different stat, and it has a 5 in it. Yeah, all 3 rounds. Vivi's tough as hell, man. I mean, she does have 1 knockout TKO loss in her career. Was it in the UFC? No, it was not. So she's never been finished in the UFC. Karine Silva is exactly what her nickname says, a killer. I love watching this girl fight. I root for her every time. I'll be rooting for her here. Her scores have been pretty decent, but, you know, Adriana da Silva, 84 points is all she scored there. And I think Araujo is extremely tough out. She has decent grappling. She has good control at times, 40% against Natalia Silva. 47% against Maya, 71% against Andrea Lee. So she's dominating in control positions from time to time. So long story short, actually the last stat I will give, she has the best score per loss out of any fighter on the entire card. It's like 40 or 47, something like that. I know there's a 5-round fight in there, so it probably is a little less in threes. But man, for 7K, if I can get 35, 40 or more points in a loss, I'm definitely going to take that so I can play Mauricio Hoofy, so I can play some of those other top-end people we haven't talked about yet. So Silva likely wins a decision. I don't think she scores well. I don't think she's finishing Araujo. And I'm playing Araujo in cash, especially, probably even a little in GPPs, because the price is crazy. 7K, the price is nuts here.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think.
I mean, who else would you play in that low end? Like, you could argue Stipe. Stipe aside, like, she's number one with a bullet.
That's Michael Chandler.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
maybe. All right.
She's the cheapest.
You got me there.
There's nobody below her.
Yeah. Better way to say that.
But even still, if she wins, I don't know if she's going to put up enough on this card. Like Karine Silva, I think is better. It's got some sneaky potential because
who wins at the high end
because she can grapple. Yeah, it's the price that turns me off on Karine Silva. We'll do the ranking later, and mostly my interest on Araujo is just in cash games. I do think Silva probably controls her and is dominant on the feet if it's there. All right, that being said, let's go to the next squash. Bo Nickal, Paul Craig. Bo Nickal is minus 1,200 EV. Paul Craig is plus 750. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 1,000. Holy fuck. Followed by another holy fuck moment in that Bo Nickal is 9,800. Paul Craig is 6,400. Look, just play Bo Nickal, mix him in some. It's hard to get a ton of exposure to, but I do think there's enough underdogs in this card that there are combinations. I laid out the underdogs I like. I think, and I don't think Monk poo-pooed on any of them really in terms of not being viable. So I think you can get Bo Nickal in. I think we all know that he will score well in a win. I'm going to say Paul Craig is not my fade down in this range. I wrote fade next to Hafez Llontop and Stipe Miocic, right? I wrote GPP fade or some combination in there. I did not write that for Paul Craig.
Same. I just put GPP
because this is the punt play that can break the slate. I'm not going all in on Bo Nickal, aside from the price, because Bo Nickal, good as he looks as the prospect, as dominant the wrestling is, are you really going to be surprised if he takes down Paul Craig and Paul Craig knee bars or triangles him?
God.
He triangled Magomed Ankalaev.
So awesome.
Would it really surprise you if Bo Nickal does something silly and gets submitted? Wrestling great, BJJ still learning, MMA still learning. If Paul Craig catches him, are we really going to be like, oh my God?
Some people will be, for sure.
You're going to be like, why didn't I bet Paul Craig? Now, I'm not going to do it, but actually, you know what I do want to look up? I'll mix in a little bit of Paul Craig for that. What is Paul Craig?
Plus 11 or 12. It was this morning anyway. Plus 11.
Get 1,600 at Bovada. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bet a tenth of a unit on that. I'm going to go ahead and fire $10 there to win 160. I'm going to go fire. I'm going to go fire $10. I'm pissing $10 away. Fine. That's not right because it's the only way he wins this fight, guys.
It's his one path.
The only way he wins this fight. Fuck. So, go ahead and play Bo Nickal, but there's your slight cautionary tale. Monk, what do you got?
Nothing much different. I will have a little bit of Paul Craig for the reason you just said. I mean, it's always fun to root for him. Who's not a Paul Craig fan? It is annoying when he does a 3/4 takedown and then falls to his back to pull guard. That is annoying, but hopefully we can get past that. My hot take here, Bo Nickal's too expensive. I like fighters more than him. We'll get to our rankings at the end. He's probably fine, though. Most likely outcome is a first-round finish. Bo Nickal smashes. But yeah, I think he's just slightly too expensive. I'm going to be under the field this week.
Bo Nickal smash.
Bo Nickal smash for sure. That's probably.
I don't know if I'm going to be under or over because I got to look at the ownership because I think people are going to. Once you slam in John,
he's going to be he's going to be fucking 40% owned at 9,800. Watch.
All right. Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler. Oliveira is now minus 245. The comeback on Chandler is plus 210. DraftKings salaries. Oliveira is 9,000. Chandler is 7,200. And fight ends inside the distance, minus 800. Fucking alarm bells, GPP, 5-round co-main event. This is in every one of your lineups, or go fuck off. Quite frankly. Monk, what you got?
Yeah, basically. I think, every one of your lineups and GPPs. I think Chandler's fine for cash, too. You need a low-end guy, put Chandler in there. 5 rounds, like you said, that's a huge W. Obviously, we saw what happened in the first fight. However, before Chandler got TKO'd at the beginning of the second round, he did land 5.6 strikes a minute. In fact, he's extremely high volume, I would classify him as, landing over 5 and over 6 strikes per minute in every one of his UFC fights except the previous Dustin Poirier fight where he was at 3.5. So even in losses, he's scoring like 46.5 against Gaethje, 46.7 against Poirier. Oliveira has plenty of losses in the UFC, like a lot of them. And Chandler, maybe hasn't fought in 2 years. Actually, it's 2 years to the day since that Poirier fight today. So happy anniversary ? He hasn't fought in 2 years, but he's been training nonstop for a fight, whether that's Conor McGregor or somebody else or whatever. So he hasn't been on the couch for 2 years. Hopefully he's learning something, still trying to learn something. I know that's hard to do at 38 years old, but Oliveira's no spring chicken either. 35. Took that L to Sarukian, took the L to Makhachev, two wrestlers. So that could be Michael Chandler's game plan. He didn't land any in the first round or the first fight against Oliveira, I should say, but that should kind of be his game plan here. I think I actually picked Michael Chandler to win outright. Yeah, I did. Might sound crazy, but I don't know, man. I just have a feeling he's this dude's 2-3 in the UFC. Can you believe A, he only has 5 fights, B, he has a losing record. It's absolutely crazy, but his strength of schedule is unmatched, virtually unmatched in the UFC. So
virtually,
50-50 fight, really. Smash him into your GPP lineups. I'm picking Chandler to win straight up. I think this line is too wide, like way too wide.
I hesitated. I did hesitate. I did take Charles Oliveira, but remember, Michael Chandler almost beat him in that first fight.
And that's how he fights. He's almost beaten him until he's not.
Right.
I get it.
I've seen a lot of fights stopped much quicker than how long Oliveira was let to survive and make the comeback. For what, and granted, I'm not saying it was right or wrong.
Right.
I'm saying I've seen fights stop quicker with not a ton of argument either. So good Oliveira came back, and that is how Chandler fights. Killer be killed fun. He does not know how to be in a boring fight. I don't think that's going to change. He knows where Oliveira is vulnerable. I think he's going to say, okay, I just made a mistake. I don't think he's going to change much. He's going to score well. To me, Michael Chandler does leave enough holes defensively that Charles Oliveira can take advantage, especially that 6 submission game. If he doesn't hurt Oliveira and knock him out, I know he was on Oliveira's back in the first fight, but grappling with Oliveira is not something you want to be fucking around with. He can shoot a takedown and get guillotine, Darce choked real quick and in a hurry. Look, as a GPP fight load up, I'm going to have more Oliveira. Move on from that. I actually think it's more interesting in cash games. What do we do in cash games? It's a high into the distance prop fight. Can you really stack it? But can you not? Because there's going to be action. You just take points.
And how do you play Oliveira at that? That's tough. It's tough to get to him.
Well, you can just block it and take the points in this fight and play both sides and know you're going to get, probably 115 to 120 points. That's probably where I'm leaning right now, unless I start building and I find a lineup I love with some of those other underdogs with, Hafez and Nickal. Nickal's an underdog, but if I can fit Nickal and John Jones and Mauricio Huffy, because the price is so up there. Maybe I need Michael. I'm going to start building, but telling me off the top, I would say you're probably just stacking this as a blocker. Granted, I'm probably not playing cash games this week. doesn't feel like a great week for cash games. But I'm going to mess with the way I typically approach it is I start building it. If I land on a lineup I like, I'll go ahead and then I'll roll out a few units in cash. If I don't, like I didn't. I hated last week's card. I know I said I won at the top of the show, but I didn't like it. That's why I played 20. I played 20 lineups and I moved on, and I happened to hit. But so that's this. Regardless, even if I don't like, I'll probably play at least 50 lineups because
anytime a bunch of favorites win, it's always tough for cash.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the main event of the evening. John, I'm ducking Tom Aspinall, Bones Jones, minus 700, taking on Stipe, the heavyweight goat Miocic at plus 500. Fight ends at the distance, minus 500. DraftKings salaries, Jones is 9,500. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that is product of life, not this card, even though this card is parts of it. Sorry. A lot going on here. 6,700 for Stipe Miocic on the comeback. If you skipped ahead, you need to go back and watch the whole show because we had a conversation about could John Jones possibly just carry Stipe because he doesn't want to look bad about ducking Tom and look, Stipe was a tough fight and then I finished him everyone's telling John Jones you're going to roll through Stipe. Maybe he doesn't care. He might not care. He probably doesn't. He's a terrible person. And I'll die on that hill. He's actually a worse person than Chris Curtis, which is...
Oh, that's probably true.
It's definitely true. Just like to shit on Chris Curtis whenever I can. Because he definitely listens to half the shit out there.
Right.
Okay. Anyway. Not that he should give a fuck about what I think. It's fun to poke a bear.
I don't think he's on Twitter anymore, though, so it might not be as fun.
Whatever. Baby. John Jones is going to win. It's a matter of how quickly he's going to win and how he's going to score. And the price tag up here, Miocic is way over the hill. John Jones, probably the GOAT. Hate to say it, but, skill for skill is a fucking savage. As miserable of a human being as he is. I think he's a little tone deaf here with the Tom Aspinall situation. Mostly, I think he's stubborn, for whatever that's worth. Or maybe he's smart and knows he won't win the fight.
He's not winning that fight.
I think he knows that.
I'm not saying that, but I think he doesn't want to chance it.
Right. I think that's the thing. It's the most interesting fight in a long time.
Yeah.
Because who is he fighting in heavyweight? Cyril Gahn, who had an obvious hole. It's Stipe Miocic, who's a bajillion years old. Okay, Tom. Yeah, okay, John. I believe you. You're the heavyweight GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're the light heavyweight GOAT. So, anyway, I've totally digressed here. Play John Jones wherever you can. I'm not stacking this in cash. I'm a little worried about the scoring because I think he might carry Stipe, but still the obvious play here. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah. John Jones, I'm smashing him into as many lineups as I probably can. He should beat up Stipe here. The dude's been off for almost 4 years. He's 42 years old. I've heard people say things like, oh, Stipe's ready for this one. He's at 40, up. Like, who's to say that he's not here, like, just taking this payday and right off into the sunset? No win or loss, he's still going to be the greatest heavyweight of all time, most likely. John Jones is not taking that title away from him with this win by any stretch of the imagination. So nothing really changes for Stipe. He's just getting the paycheck, right?
He's the smart one. It's all upside.
Exactly. Yeah. If he beats John Jones, I think as Jed Meshew said, it's going to be the funniest fucking thing that's ever happened. So this is, other than getting punched in the face, this is a win-win. And if he can go out here and get submitted somehow and not take much damage.
Take me down, John. Take me down.
That's a triple win. So, yeah, I think John Jones has potential to, he should score very well here in a win. This is not going to, minus 500 to go to decision is fucking crazy. Like, there's no, I would be shocked if this fight goes 25. Like,
I wouldn't, because I think he might carry.
You're
going to immediately text me.
Anything by doing that. People are going to say that, why didn't you finish? They're going to shoot on him like I shoot on Shara for not finishing Antonio Tricoli, which is aged really poor, or not finishing him earlier, which is aged really poorly. People are going to shit on him like that. Like, why didn't you finish Stipe? Why'd you just fucking fuck with him for like 4 rounds.
You're going to immediately
that, how many takedowns is he going to get?
I'm going to stare right at my phone at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning and be like, here it comes. Monk's going to message me. It's coming.
Right, yeah. We'll see. I hope not. But yeah, I like John Jones here. Fucking fight Tom or retire, please. One or the other. Let's get this shit over with for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's pretty brutal. Like his come up to heavyweight that was 3 years in the making.
It's so sad, man. I mean, I grew up in MMA watching Anderson Silva. Like John Jones was like right after that. He was like, I mean, I watched his whole entire career. Like I watched the fucking 12-6 elbow happen live. Like it's so fucking. Tell you,
I used to podcast with the guys years ago, Loudmouth MMA, and Kyle Steele. Kyle got into MMA when John Jones fought Matt Hamill, and he didn't know that Matt Hamill was deaf, and he thought and the interview happened, and he thought John Jones elbowed him so hard he made him R-worded.
Oh shit!
Because he didn't know Matt Hamill was deaf, so
That's
he was
hilarious.
like, "Did that just happen?"
Oh my god!
My favorite story.
There's got to be rules against that. No, that and I mean the fucking elbow or the high guillotine over Machida is one of the craziest fucking things anybody's ever seen. Like this dude is probably the GOAT. He was at one point my favorite fighter at one point, and it's fucking sad that it's come to this. So let's just get it over with.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, let's break down the last little bit of this card for DFS purposes. We got to rank the top of this card. I said we would do it.
Top 4.
We got top 4. Nickal 9,800, Huffy 9,600, Jones 9,500, Carini Silva 9,200. Monk, you got an order for me?
I do. I'm going Mauricio Huffy, Ruffy, Roofy.
As your one?
As number 1.
Guess what? We agree.
Nice. Number 2 is where we disagree. John Jones.
I got Bo Nickal number 2.
I got Bo Nickal 3 and Silva 4.
I got flip those 2, and I got John Jones. And I'm going to add in the bit I put in about John Jones and worried about scoring, and also game theory ownership. John Jones is going to have a metric fuck ton of ownership.
I think Bo Nickal's going to take some of that away, though.
I'll be interested in the ownership.
Very.
We have who's going to be higher owned. Jones.
Those top 3. I'll be and throwing Charles Oliveira in there. I'll be very interested.
Yeah. All right, we did that. Now we got to do Killshot. If you don't know what a Killshot is, welcome to the show. Smash the like button, share with your friends, drop a comment with what your Killshot is. Once I tell you that a Killshot is an under-owned GPP play who can help you win a tournament. Usually it's a dog, but it can be somebody just no one's going to be on, like 10% Luana Pinheiro last week. And it's going to help you take it down. Monk, you hit yours earlier. I'm totally allowing that one. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to pick it then. Otherwise it was going to be Vivi. But I'm going with Mickey Gall, $8,300. I hope he's way under-owned. I think he smashes this week.
I think he's going to be. I think that is a
risky, but that's why it's a kill shot.
That's a kill shot, and I'm going to go same route here. I'm going to go Basil Hafez.
I really like that one a lot. And I got to remember to switch my pick. I'm going to do it right the fuck now.
To beat the currently undefeated Oban, the Welsh gangster, solid-ass nickname, Elliott.
That's true.
That's what we got for UFC 309, breaking down all 12 and a half fights here. If you want to join DFS Army, get access to the optimizer, all the notes. There's more coaches, other opinions, Discord, other sports. Come check it out. Those links down below. Monk, before we sign off, you got anything else?
No, I'm really looking forward to this one. Bringing back a DFS show that we're doing tomorrow night, just a couple more to end out the year with like Wheezy and Brady and Gordo. So that's going to be a fun one. So usually this is my one and only show of the week. So, but I got an extra one. Still my favorite one though, this one. So yeah, looking forward to this card. Appreciate that. Looking forward to this card and only a couple more to end out the year. I don't remember how many. But I think the last one is the 14th of December. So
yes,
do the math. There's 5 left.
And then we're not back until like January 14th too, I think. Then you got a whole month.
Enjoy it, as Brody Stevens would say.
Take down some more GPPs, more helmets at the top of the leaderboards. You don't want to get left out. Join down below. UFC 309, Jones and Miocic, the Killshot MMA podcast. Monk, it was fun as always.
Likewise.
Everybody else, hit the like button, and we'll see you next time.